Good day everyone, I'm Moro M. Flores and today we will discuss the process of water cycle and how it affects the environment. Planet Earth. It is also called as blue planet because it covered by water for about 70%. Water is very important for the survival and existence of all living things. Life is impossible without water. And now let's go to water cycle. The water cycle shows the continuous movement of water within the earth and atmosphere. It is a complex system that includes many different processes. Liquid water evaporates into water vapor, condenses to form clouds, and precipitate back to earth in the form of rain and snow. So we know what the water cycle is, and now we will proceed to its processes. So as we can see the illustration, when the sun shines on any part of water like sea, lakes, and rivers, the heat of the sun changes some of the water into vapor. The change of water into vapor. This is the first step of the water cycle. So as we can see, there's an arrow to provide the process. Those arrows shows the process of the evaporation in water cycle. So the next process is we have the condensation. This water vapor goes up into the air and forms tiny drops of water on meeting cool air. Many such drops of water together forms cloud. So we can observe that the clouds become dark. It is because of the tiny drops of water. So the next process is we have precipitation. On cooling, when the clouds become heavy and cannot hold the water anymore, they fall in the form of rain, snow, snow pellets, and drizzle, and ice crystals. So the last process that we have in water cycle is collection. The rainwater again goes into rivers, lakes, streams, and etc. This way the water cycle in nature goes on and on. So let's proceed on how water cycle affects the environment. Water cycle affects our climate change. The impacts of climate change and variability on the quality of human life occurs primarily through changes in the water cycle. Areas can become more prone to both droughts and flooding, impacting on plants and animals, and also human living near the forested area. Water in the Earth system is influencing all aspects of life on Earth. Pathways, storage, transfers, and transformations have an effect on the global climate and human welfare. And then climate change affects evaporation and precipitation. Climate change is likely causing parts of the water cycle to speed up as warming global temperatures increase the rate of evaporation worldwide. More evaporation is causing more precipitation on average. We are already seeing impacts of higher evaporation and precipitation rates, and the impacts are expected to increase over the century as climate warms. Higher evaporation and precipitation rates are not evenly distributed around the world. Some areas are experiencing heavier than normal precipitation, and other areas may become prone to droughts as the traditional location of rain belts and desert shifts in response to a changing climate. Some climate models predict that coastal regions will become wetter and the middle of continents will become drier. Also, some models forecast more evaporation and rainfall over oceans, but not necessarily over land. So another one is stronger hurricanes. Warmer ocean surface waters can intensify hurricanes and tropical storms, leading to more hazardous conditions as these storms make landfall. Scientists continue to research how climate change affects the number of these storms, but we know that the storm will be powerful and destructive in the future. And my last one is the melting of the glaciers in North Pole and the Antarctic. Arctic oceans grows in the winter and then melts at its edge in the summer. But lately, warmer temperatures have caused more ice to melt in the summer and less ice to grow in winter. The summer thickness of sea ice is about half of what it was in 1950. Melting sea ice could cause changes in ocean circulation as the temperature and density of water changes. It is also speeding up warming in the Arctic with less ice, less sunlight is reflected out to space and more is absorbed by the water and land. So by the continuous melts of the ice glaciers, so the water level increases and it affects how the water cycle undergo its processes. So as we can see in these videos, we can see that the climate change is really happening. For me, the water cycle is root of all of these happenings.